Welcome back, traders, to my market outlook on index futures for the week of December 15th. And let's kick things off by taking a look at the economic calendar. Now this week, pretty much every day, we do have some sort of high impact or medium impact news. Monday, we have a couple of high impact at 9:45 with PMI. And then Tuesday, we do have some high impact news in the morning and some medium impact in the afternoon. And Wednesday, we do have some medium impact and one high impact with crude oils, but I'm not really wanting to take a trade Wednesday morning because I see in the afternoon at 2 o'clock we do have FOMC. They're going to have a interest rate decision, so I really want to be hands off Wednesday. Pretty much going to be a no trade day for me. Then Thursday we have GDP and initial jobless claims, so a lot of high impact in the morning, and then even at 10 o'clock existing home sales, so a lot of volatility I'm anticipating for Thursday. And then Friday we do have core PCE in the morning, so a lot going on this week, so definitely be careful of the volatility. Also note that this Friday the December contract will be expiring, so that's also something you want to pay attention to. Make sure you keep track of the open interest and adjust accordingly. Okay, so now going into the charts, let's take a quick look at the dollar index on the weekly chart. We can see that we did have a drop into this fair value gap, and now we're kind of rallying up, moving away from this fair value gap. So I'm anticipating the dollar index taking out this high, going back into this inefficiency, and this purple, remember that was the monthly volume imbalance. I think we could this time hit that monthly volume balance. So with the dollar index going up, traditionally indices will be going down. So going into this week, I will have sort of a bearish bias. Here's the S&P micros on the weekly chart. Now, I did say I want to be bearish going into this week, but technically the indices haven't shown any bearish signs just yet. If we take a look at the weekly chart for the past few weeks, we do have a volume imbalance here, and also we have a fair value gap, and I'm looking at this down candle as an order block with this blue line. So I do anticipate price coming back down into this area. But if you look up top, we do have relative equal highs, so I think we can also come and take these highs out as well. I think it's just going to be a matter of which one gets taken out first, and I'll use that as a starting line to go for the other target. That's only assuming that we come down to the weekly BISI here and using that as support. If we start trading through that, then that could be a different story. But if we start trading into it and we start getting a bounce, for example, let's say we have something like this, and then we start moving away from it, then I'll be looking for the high to get taken. Now going down to the daily, you can see it for the past week or so, it's been pretty much consolidating. We do have these highs up here, so there is liquidity above here. And then we also have that weekly volume balance with the weekly BISI and the order block. So I think it's just going to be a matter of which one of these get taken first. I don't want to go in too quick this week. I just want to wait to see which one gets taken first. And if we're going to get support down here, I want to look for a rally above these highs. And if we take the highs out first, then I want to look for a reversal signal to come back into this weekly BISI. Moving on to Nasdaq. Now, if you've been following me, you know that I do have this projected target of 2160. We didn't hit it last week, but we did get pretty close. I think this week we could reach for it, but there is a potential that we don't. So it doesn't really have to do that. But I would prefer that we do reach it early in the week, and then I want to look for a retracement down into this weekly fair value gap. Now remember, this is not any financial advice. I'm just giving you what I'm looking for, my opinions. Definitely don't take a trade based off of what I have to say. But I do see that we do have this weekly fair value gap, and traditionally we would draw it from the low of this candle to the high of this candle. But if you take a closer look, there is a very small volume imbalance on the weekly chart and a volume imbalance up here. So I would want to stretch this fair value gap up here and down here, and then if you look at this, we do have a rather large fair value gap. So it's actually going to be kind of hard since this fair value gap is so large. I'm using this down candle right here as a weekly order block. which falls in between that, well, traditional fair value gap right here. Actually, my color is kind of weird. You can't really tell the wick on this candle, so let me go ahead and change that to, let's say, blue, I suppose. In fact, I am playing around the colors. Don't, get confused with this being a blue line. In fact, please leave in the comments. Let me know what kind of color scheme you guys are using. Perhaps that can give me some ideas on how I want to change my colors. I think they're maybe a little bit too much red or something. So I may want to change this candle to, let's say, do like a white color or something. That makes sense to me. With the green is like grass grows up in the spring. White is like snow falls down in the winter. But I think for this video, let's just stick with red. Perhaps I'll change it in the future, but let me know in the comments what you guys are using for your color scheme. Anyways, let's get back to the analysis. So we have this fair value gap, it's a rather large fair value gap, and we have this order block. So I want price to come back down and hit this order block, but I want first to go up to this projected target that I've been looking for. So something like, let's say we go up above here and then come back down here. I'm not really interested in taking the long because it's not that much. I want to most likely see some sort of a reversal signal here, and I think the better trade will be aiming for the downside here, going back into this fair value gap. And of course, if we do start going back below the mean threshold on this weekly order block and below this volume imbalance, then and only then will I be looking for lower targets. But until then, it coming back down here, there is a potential for it to bounce off and just remain bullish going into the end of the year. Okay, so now dropping down to the daily, it looks pretty messy. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the weekly fair value gap here, and we're just going to take a look at the daily imbalances. So we do have this one. It used it before as support, and if price does come back down, I don't really think this is going to act as support again. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off, and instead we can just go ahead and use this low right here as a sell side liquidity, because we do have some sell side below here. And I anticipate if we do take this out, we're going to aim for this second fair value gap. It's also pretty close to the top of the body on that weekly order block. So let me go ahead and get rid of these lines. If we do come back down, I anticipate taking out this swing low, going back into this fair value gap, and perhaps even going into the body of that weekly order block. It could even come back down into this fair value gap, although I'm not sure if it's going to go through this fair value gap. So if it does come down here, I want to keep an eye on whether or not this is going to act as support, or if we're just going to rip through it. If we do rip through it, then and then we close below the mean threshold on that weekly order block, then maybe in the next few weeks I could be looking for this swing low, but don't want to get too ahead of myself right now. I just want to see a sweep of the highs and come and retrace back into the range. Well, that's pretty much it for me this week, guys. Remember that the December contract is expiring this week, and since we started in September on this contract, we've been rallying higher up, and that's why as we get closer to the expiration date, I anticipate some sort of a pullback into the range. Not all the way down, but of course we do want to pull back a little bit. So that is why I'm kind of being bullish going into this, bearish going into this week. We could get a sweep of the highs first, and I would like to see that and then have a reversal pattern going down into the range, into that weekly order block to finish off the December contract. But if you've taken anything away from this video, please leave this video a like and subscribe if you haven't done so for my future videos. But until next time, guys, safe trading.